My name is Edwin Bruno. I'm a founder and CEO at SmartCode. So SmartCode, we are a full-service digital agency at which we solve different clients in terms of their digital communication and also do development from mobile designing, websites, mobile application, system, and anything in between. So I think it's most of the youth nowadays, they turn into internet entrepreneurship because it's easy to start. What you need is just a laptop and the internet. So there's no much investment like the way you do in construction, at which you need to have like a lot of certifications. So let's say I can even give you an example the way when we started as SmartCode as an agency. So it's just us with knowledge of programming and with the laptop of internet. That means we already have some few clients at which we can create websites for them. And then after that we start invested on ourselves in terms of knowing the market, what's needed in the market, and trying now to start developing solution for them. So you know, as digital or technology overall, it's all about solving problems. And then now we are trying to see how problems can be solved through the digital channels. So since we target people who are like actually using mobile phone, laptop, or maybe internet in general, so we are not investing much in infrastructure because everything we are using is on cloud, like AWS, Google Clouds, and things like those. That's why it's very easy for entrepreneur to start business within technology or internet, because it's just you need to find a need and trying to see what can be developed so that people can access it. So the biggest challenge is, since technology, we can say it's a new thing, now we need to convert people to understand. I can give you an example. Let's say for the digital marketing, most of the people, marketing manager and marketing director who are in the system at the moment, digital found them while already they're on their place of work. That means when you go and say you need to advertise maybe on Facebook, you need to advertise maybe on Zoom Tanzania, you know, to put your banner and interact out there, that means it's hard for them, because for them they understand radio, TV, print, and billboard. But now you say, like, you know, most of the people, since they're using internet, they're actually on social media, they're actually searching for jobs maybe on Zoom Tanzania. While people are actually visiting those sites, you can actually put the same ad which is on the billboard to appear on the, you know, website. So the biggest challenge is to change their mind. And another thing is now to display what they call return of investment. Because it's like, okay, so if I'm going to put maybe my advertisement, or if I'm going to use a certain application, is to say, what's my return of that investment? So at least the radio, I know XYZ people are listening, or maybe billboard, XYZ people are passing through this road. Now it's for us to show them what number can be converted into their business. It's been a challenge, but we are trying to make sure every client which we have, we're also educating them. So it's not about giving them a service, but also, since it's a new thing, trying to educate them on how innovation can work for them. Let's say, for example, also we have an application called the M-Paper, at which for M-Paper you can actually read the newspaper on your mobile phone. So we are trying to disrupt and change the culture of how people read or consuming news. So with that said, the biggest challenge is now to convert people to move from, you know, a physical newspaper to go into the digital newspaper through the mobile. I can say Africa internet as a whole, in terms of business, it's something which is very big. And we can say Africa now, this is our time, especially in East Africa and Tanzania as we speak, because we have a lot of solutions which we need to solve. And most of the solution also can be inspired from other solutions which have already been done in global. And now it's our job to see how can we adapt and how can we localize those solutions. And of course, by doing more research, we can say, like, even at SmartCode, we have a department for R&D, at which we actually look at our clients and even the consumers of our clients. What do they suffer? What do they want? and trying to do research, go to them, asking questions, and then after that, it's when we develop a certain product that will fit for them. Rather than most of the people and most of other idea fails, it's because you actually have an idea. Before you even do any research, you start implementing it. After implementing, and then you go to sell or to ask for consumer or to start using it, you find out actually it's not a problem. Maybe it's only problems which we have. And even in that bracket, maybe you are 10 of you which you are targeted by that. But now with the, of course, Google, at which you can actually Google a lot of stuff, and the physical research, it's when you can understand what's happening for Africa. So we can say, in general, we still have a lot of opportunity for startup internet business in Africa as a whole. Okay, so you see, when we talk about internet, we don't talk about internet as internet. It's about connection, you know, and how to simplify things, how to digitalize information. You know, let's say right now we have a challenge, let's say we called it cashless challenge. Instead of people using the normal cash in all the transaction, we do it through the digital version of it. That means we save time, you save change, you save papers and everything. So even that is a solution for the internet. Also, when we want to, let's say, book a ticket, or we want to do some stuff like that, it's all about internet. It's a connectivity. Okay, so we say Africa, we are now starting into tapping the technology challenge, especially on the internet. So either it's on advertising, either it's on e-commerce, or maybe it's a service-to-service based kind of transaction, at which most of the big companies now, especially banks and telecom, they're touching more on the fintech in terms of transaction, at which of course you save about 5 to 3% when you talk about transaction. But as well as the e-commerce, in terms of you want to, you know, buy and sell online, you can also pay through mobile money or MasterCard and Visa. But again, when you talk about transport, now we have something like Uber. I don't need to have proper cash in order for me to pay, to take me from, let's say, from smart code to another place. We actually load the money on Uber. Maybe you load also with the mobile money, or you load it with a MasterCard and Visa, at which when you drop down, you don't need to pay, because they're also going to cut it on your Uber transport. So you can say there is a lot of opportunity in terms of the billions which you actually mentioned. It's just for us to start tapping that. And telecom banks, the e-commerce transportation company, they are already starting that. And even us as the agencies, the digital agency, we have already been doing that for a long time. So as I said on my previous comment, is the internet, it's actually a very good place to start a business. And think the internet as a connection. You don't need to think as a programming per se. You can partner with anyone. Trying to think about what kind of a service can I, you know, come up with, at which it will connect people that they don't need to meet, but they can actually exchange stuff. Either it's e-commerce, either it's transport, or maybe either it's any type of service. And again, trying to look on how can we simplify the way we live. Either, let's say you want to rent a house, we have a certain service which is equal as Airbnb. When you talk about transport, we also have our local Ubers. When you talk about foods and other services, we also have that. When you talk about you want to sell things online, that means, you know, you can go to Zoom and you can actually get the listing of things, and you can actually contact the seller, or if it's apartments and things like those. That's a very huge space to play in.